been seeing a lot of talk online, as I'm sure everybody else has, about the coronavirus out of China. And I just wanted to share a few thoughts on that, comment on it. It's all over the place, as everybody knows by now. And you're seeing a lot of mixed information. Anything from 50 to 60 deaths from it, 1,200, 1,500 infected, to reports of 90,000 infected in China, 100,000 infected in China. People are panicking over the 3 confirmed cases, I believe it is now, in the United States, and the 66 or so suspected patients that are being that are under observation. But here's my thoughts on it, and I'm going solely based on my gut instinct. I believe this is being way overhyped. Coronavirus is a virus like your standard flu. This is just a variety, a slight variation that we haven't seen before. And it has a very slightly higher death rate than the standard flu. The standard flu, I believe, is 0.00036%, I think. And this one is at a 0.004% death rate. When you look at the totality of the infected to the fatalities, it's not that high, at least not yet. And the majority of the deaths related to coronavirus aren't a result of the coronavirus directly. They're a result of secondary infections like pneumonia and problems arising from those secondary infections. But we're exposed to coronaviruses every year. The common cold, the multitude of common influenza strains that we deal with each year in the United States, those are all coronaviruses. So the coronavirus itself is nothing new. This is just a particular strain that hasn't been seen in human-to-human transmissions until now. So here's my thoughts. This is being way overblown. This is being hyped up way out of proportion. There's a lot of fear-mongering out there, and you need to take everything with a good dose of salt. Instead of a grain of salt, a dose of salt. Don't let fear or panic push you into making decisions or reacting in ways that you wouldn't normally react. Everybody needs to be prepared for a pandemic. That's something I truly believe, because I believe a global pandemic on the level of the Spanish flu of 1918, where millions could die, I believe that will happen. It's only a matter of time. It's not if it will happen, it's a matter of when. It will happen. I just don't know when. I don't believe this is it. My gut is just telling me this is going to be a lot like the H1N1 swine flu scare a few years back, where everybody was panicking, everybody was freaking out, and then it just fizzled out. Nothing really happened. People are freaking out, suspecting that China is controlling the amount of information coming out of China regarding this flu. Well, duh, it's China. It's a communist country. It's a totalitarian country. They're communists. That's what communists do. They control all the media. And if something comes out that they don't like, they're going to scrub it from the internet. They're going to silence it any way they can. So for people to be panicking and thinking that because China's doing that, it's much worse than what it already is, or what they're saying rather, that's just what China does. And that's what countries like China does. You cannot base your judgments on a typical reaction from a communist country. They're going to control everything they possibly can. That's what they do. So, you know, you've really got to stop and think things through logically. Like I said, I believe it's being way overhyped. I don't believe it's as serious of a threat as a lot of people would say. But that being said, I don't think you should ignore this either. This should be a good opportunity for you to consider what would happen and how you would react should something truly serious and truly deadly break out. I mean, you need to have a plan in place for pandemics, isolation. At what point do you isolate yourself from everybody else? Do you have enough food to sustain yourself and your family during that isolation, that self-imposed isolation? And what PPE do you have? What gear and supplies do you have to maintain that isolation? So this is in my opinion, this is a good opportunity to work through some of those plans and figure out what you want to do, what you need to do, and where you're short in some areas or weak in some areas. But like I said, my gut is just telling me this is not what everybody's trying to make it seem to be. And again, that being said, I'm not saying ignore the situation. This is something we should watch, because I could be completely wrong. I could be completely wrong. I could be way off base, and this could end up being worse than I expect. If I'm not mistaken, the Spanish flu in 1918 came in 3 waves. The first wave was very mild, with just a few deaths. Then it eased off for a while, and then it hit again. In the second wave, there were more deaths in the beginning of that second wave, and then it tapered off. And then in the third wave, there was a third wave. In that third wave, at the beginning of it, there were even more deaths, and then it gradually petered out. But you have to understand too, that was back in 1918. We have medicine, we have technology now that didn't exist 40, 50, 60 years ago, much less 102 years ago. So we are much better capable of overcoming something like the 1918 Spanish flu epidemic. So yes, watch this, keep an eye on it, stay informed, do not panic, do not react or make plans out of fear. Think smart, plan smart, and you should be okay. That's what my gut is telling me. And just maintain your standards of sanitation and hygiene. Follow the normal protocols. Wash your hands constantly. If you can't wash your hands, keep hand sanitizer close by. Try to avoid being around people that are showing signs of being sick, like you would during any flu outbreak. Bear in mind that antibiotics have no bearing, they have no effect on a viral flu. So antibiotics they'll be of no benefit to you. So there's no point in even taking those. And to be honest, from what I've been hearing, a lot of the common viral influenzas uh, are becoming resistant to the viral-based medicines for them. The vaccines, the flu shots, those things are always less than effective. I mean, I think the most they've ever been effective is 50%, and I believe 1 year, not too long ago, it was only like 15 to 17% effective, because there's multiple strains out there, and they have to try to predict what strain's going to be the big one for that year, and then they produce the vaccine for that year. So the flu vaccines are kind of a hit and miss. If you choose to get a flu vaccine, by all means go ahead and do it. If you choose not to, I'm not going to criticize you for it. Me personally, I never get the flu vaccine because members of my family have a history of ending up in critical condition in the hospital whenever they did get the flu vaccines or pneumonia vaccines. That we've always had, members of my family have always had bad reactions to them. So to me, I'm just not going to chance it. I would rather take my chances without the shot. But that's just me. But yeah, wash your hands, use hand sanitizer, keep your house clean, disinfect things, avoid prolonged exposure around people that are showing any kind of signs or symptoms of being sick. Ready a pandemic kit. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have a pandemic kit. You know, Tyvek suits, plastic, duct tape, N95 masks, and that's something else. I see a lot of people freaking out and getting into arguments over the type of mask to use. The really cheap $1 boxes of masks at the Dollar Tree and Dollar General and whatever, those are meant to protect you from large dust particles and splashes of chemicals. They're not really meant to filter out viruses, and you have to think of these masks as filters, because that's exactly what they are. Each one being each filter type or each mask type has different size holes in it that allows different size particulates and microbes and things like that through. So those really cheap boxes of dollar store masks, they're meant to protect you from liquids and large dust particles, things that are easily filtered out. They're not good at filtering out viruses and things like that. But that being said, they're better than nothing. I'm not going to say they're going to protect you, but it's better than not having any at all. N95 masks, I know those are going to be hard to come by now because everybody's in a panic and everybody's buying them. But, and again, I still think this is a lot of fear-mongering and panic over nothing, and I think when it settles down, that would be the best time to start buying buy a supply of masks. N95 is great. N99 or N100 are even better. They filter out even more than the N95. You can get some that have the replaceable charcoal filters. So those are an option. But yeah, folks, just use some common sense, think things through, and don't react out of fear. Don't plan out of fear. Think smart, plan smart, and you're going to be okay. Don't let the media or fearmongers out there push you into doing something and making a bad decision, buying something that you don't need right now. That's pretty much all I've got on that. Like I said, keep watching, because you never know. I could be completely wrong. This could be something bigger than what I think it is, but I just doubt it. But as always, stay alert, keep aware, and do what you got to do to take care of yourself and your family. All right, guys, I'll catch you later.